Snot Stew, Chapter 7. The new world, the outside world, was marvelous. It was big. I could see for a long, long way. There was another fence, but it was made with wire instead of wood, like the fence we just crawled through. There were big animals behind the fence. I mean big. They had long tails and short horns, were white with black spots. They said moo. Moo didn't make any sense, so I didn't bother to walk out and talk to them. There was a small fenced-in place over to the side. That fence was different still. It was made with wire too, but the wire was small and twisted into little square little things. I guess the wire was smaller because the animals who lived there were smaller. They looked a little like the birds on Mother's trinket shelf, only they weren't made out of glass. They walked around and bit at stuff on the ground. With their long, sharp mouths, they said, "Cluck, cluck." I felt my mouth twitch up on one side. I thought, outside animals are hard to understand. Then, all of a sudden, I heard another sound. It was a loud bow wow. Toby and I both jumped. We looked beside the fence where the sound had come from. Down at the end, some huge monster glared at us around the corner. His eyes were brown and round. His face was black as the night. His lips curled, and I could see white fangs glistening beneath his pink gums. Toby and I froze. I trembled, watching the monster. Suddenly, his bow wow became a loud growl. He charged around the corner of the fence. He was racing straight toward us. My tail puffed up, nearly as big around as I was. My claws came out. I scampered back through the hole. I ran straight to the tree and raced up it. I'd never climbed a tree before. I don't know how I did it, but when I looked around, there I was, perched up in the branches. "Toby," I meowed. "Toby, run, run!" The loud bow wow came again. Toby scooted through the hole in the fence below me. His tail was fuzzed up, just as big around as mine was. Instead of running for the tree like I did, Toby stopped and looked back toward the fence. There was nothing there. No sound, no monster. Then a blank snout appeared with white teeth. It roared. The teeth snapped shut over and over again as it roared. Toby jumped back. He started for the tree. But just before he got there, he stopped. "Hurry, Toby!" I called. "Up here, where it's safe." Toby stood watching the hole. After a little while, the snout and the white fangs disappeared. Toby started back toward the fence. "No, Toby," I meowed. "It'll get you. Up here, quick." Toby just ignored me. He stood a little way back from the hole. He leaned down, looking. Then he moved closer. I shut my eyes. "Watch this," he called. I forced my eyes open, but only a crack. He started prancing back and forth in front of the hole. He strolled casually one way and then the other. Each time he walked past the hole, he got closer. Suddenly, there was another roar. The black snout stuck through the hole again. The white fang snapped. Toby froze, but he didn't run. I couldn't watch, but the growling and snapping stopped. I peeked. Toby was looking up at me. He had the biggest smile I ever saw on his face. "The monster's too fat to get through the hole," he meowed. "He's too big to fit. All he can do is growl and snap, but he can't touch me, ha ha." Toby began strutting back and forth in front of the hole again. "Fatty, fatty, 2x4, couldn't get through the bathroom door, so he did it on the floor." Toby chanted over and over. Finally, the monster stuck his snout through the hole and growled and snapped some more. Toby just laughed. "This is fun," he called. "Come on." I shook my head. "What if—" Toby just flipped his tail. "What if nothing?" He cut me off. "He's too big. He can't get through. Come on." As carefully and slowly as I could be, I eased down the tree. I walked just a little way and stopped. Tilting my head to the side, I tried to look through the crack to see if the monster was still there. "What is it, Toby?" I asked, leaning my head the other. "It's Butch," Toby meowed. "Butch? What's a Butch?" Toby flipped his tail. "Mother told us about him, remember? Butch is the Burke's dog. She said he was black as night and had long white fangs and roared instead of talked. She said he would just love to eat a soft, juicy kitten. Remember?" I felt the hair on my back tingle. I remember. Toby started prancing back and forth again, chanting, "Fatty, fatty." Only nothing happened. He looked at me. Then frowning, he looked back at the hole. "Fat Butch must have gone," Toby complained. "I better have a look." "No, no!" I cried. "Don't stick your head through there. If he's hiding beside the fence, he'll bite it off." Toby frowned. "You might be right." He sat down beside the hole and looked around. "Ah, there's a way I can find out." I noticed him looking up at the top of the fence. There was a board that ran just beneath the top. Toby looked around a while longer. Then, quicker than I could blink, he jumped up on the picnic table and on up to that wood rail. "Careful, Toby, don't fall." The wood was not very wide. Toby walked along it just like he was on the ground. He was such a good fence walker, he didn't even have to be careful. The wood rail was so close to the top of the fence, Toby didn't even have to stretch to look over. "He's not down there," Toby meowed. He sounded almost sad about it. "Good," I called. "Now get down before you fall. Let's go back to the door. Maybe Mother will let us in." Toby just flipped his tail. "No, I want to find out where Butch went. Teasing him is fun. I want to do it some more." Toby walked the rail all the way to the corner of the fence. He turned and kept going. About halfway down the other side, he stopped. I watched him for a long moment. He would peek over the fence, then look back across the yard at the hole, then peek over the fence again. My whiskers wiggled, wondering what he was up to. Suddenly, Toby jumped over the fence. My eyes popped open so wide, I thought they were going to bust out of my head. I heard Butch bark. I shuddered. The sound of his roar raced through the corner of the fence, then down the long, straight path toward the hole. The monster had eaten my Toby. My brother was a goner. There was a flash. Toby shot through the hole in the fence. Right behind him, the black snout and the snapping white fangs appeared. I jumped. Toby turned and leaned down so he could see through the hole. "Fatty, fatty, 2x4, couldn't get through the bathroom door, so he did it on the floor." Toby giggled over and over as he strutted and flipped his tail. "Toby, please come away from there. That Butch is going to eat you, please." Toby just strutted and chanted more. After a while, Butch went away, and Toby jumped back up on the fence rail. "Toby," I warned, "don't. You keep messing with that dog. He's going to get you." Toby just flipped his tail and laughed. "He's fat and he's slow, too," Toby sneered. "He can't get me. I'm the world's fastest cat, and he's the world's slowest, fattest dog." Then Toby jumped over the fence again. I hated this game. I hated Toby teasing the monster Butch like this. I just knew something bad was going to happen. I just knew Butch was going to catch Toby. But again and again, Toby and Butch played their game, and every time, Toby managed to squeeze through the hole in the fence, just ahead of those snapping white fangs. I guess Toby would have gone on playing his game and teasing Butch forever if it hadn't been for Mother. Toby had just jumped on the picnic table and then onto the wood rail when Mother opened the back door. She got her voice up real high and called, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty." My ears perked up. She held the door open with her foot. There were 2 bowls in her hands. "Come on, kitty. You want some stew?" I felt my ears perk straight up. "Stew?" Toby jumped down from the fence and bounded across the yard toward her. I raced after him. I hated the game Toby was playing, but I love stew.